everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of Viewer Questions. I am your host for today, Lee Camp, and your host every day on this. Not on everything. Just here mainly. And also redacted tonight. Today, I want to talk about the latest budget that has been approved in the House. Trump put forward the military spending is fucking psychotic. Get to that in a second. I also wanted to mention that Puerto Rico's governor says he's going to step down after 16 or 18 days of protest. That's incredible. I mean, it's the Puerto Ricans have been just abused and exploited and extracted and desecrated and defecated on at every level. And, they're standing up. Yes, right now, a lot of the ire is pointed towards that one guy because of the corruption and racism and homophobia that he showed in his emails and texts, and they successfully are getting him out. But it's much deeper than that. It's much bigger than that. We have used Puerto Rico as a fucking piggy bank for years. Our vulture capitalists have extracted the wealth, destroyed it, don't care when shit goes down there. We don't even care enough to help them. Trump runs around claiming that we've given them $90 billion or some shit, which is utterly false. You know, that estimate is the estimate of how much it would take Puerto Rico to recover over the next 5 years or 10 years or whatever the number is. It is not the number of dollars that the U.S. has sent down there to help them. So they haven't gotten the help they need. They're really still recovering from a hurricane from years ago, 2 years ago now, coming up on, I think. And yeah. Anyway, this shows the power of people protest, of people getting in the streets and getting angry and not taking no for an answer. And they seem to have actually gotten this motherfucker out of office. So good for them. But, now it's time to keep it going, keep that energy going, and actually change Puerto Rico for the better. So to get to and I'm going to get to viewer questions in a bit. For those of you who are new to how this works, you might have known by the title of the episode and viewer questions that I would get to viewer questions. You guys are so fucking smart. I want to get to this. Mainly, I want to get to this Trump's latest budget, which, you can't pin it all on him because guess what? It was just passed by our House of Representatives, okay? And these numbers are beyond what the human brain can process. I get that, but I might as well give them to you anyway. In this latest budget deal, the Pentagon, our military, our weapons of death, our death machinery gets $1.48 trillion over 2 years. That's the stated budget. That's not the black budget, the secretive budget. We'll keep that in the dark. But $1.48 trillion over 2 years. The entire rest of the government in this budget gets $1.3 trillion. Did you follow that? Our Pentagon, our organized mass murder machine is allotted more money than the entire rest of our government. Just let that sink in. Trillions of dollars. Meanwhile, they tell us we don't have money for health care, money for infrastructure, money for schools, money for our elderly, our parents and grandparents, taking care of them, the nurses they need, the Social Security. They claim it's going to go bankrupt. Bullshit! You have more money than anyone could imagine to pay for this shit, okay? A modicum of our military budget could cover this stuff that we actually want in our society. And meanwhile, they do fucking stories on New York Times about how this group of school kids got together and they made a wheelchair for their friend who couldn't afford a wheelchair. And isn't that a good news story? Look at them helping out that little tyke. Isn't that great? No, maybe it's not great. Maybe that kid should have a fucking wheelchair. Maybe it shouldn't be up to other 8-year-olds to build him one like we're in some sort of fucking Dickensian hellscape, like we're chimney sweeps in the 1600s. This is a fucking horror show. No, how about we take our fucking military money and we give that goddamn kid a wheelchair rather than expecting some fucking 8-year-olds to put it together on their off time in the home ec lab over there in elementary school. To tell you a little bit more about these numbers, in case you were concerned that this is just Trump. This is just Trump, what a fucking asshole, giving all this money to the military. It's just Trump's fault. In case that was your thinking, guess who mainly voted for this in the House of Representatives? The Democrats. The fucking Democrats. Okay? More Democrats voted for this than Republicans. Only 16 Democrats did not vote for this. 219 Democrats and 65 Republicans voted for this outrageous level of spending on military and weaponry and killing and murder and death and missiles and the obliteration of countless innocent civilians. The Democrats. So if you think they're the anti-war party for a second, get that idea out of your head, all right? They are not. They have become practically more pro-war than the Republicans. I mean, not quite, because Trump obviously put this thing forward. He's a so-called Republican. But there's no anti-war party. And you can't even speak about peace in our government and have it be heard and allowed. I mean, it's fucking repulsive. And like I said, you can't process this level of spending, this level of, these numbers are out of the ability of a human being to actually churn through our animalistic gears and spit out anything reasonable. Nothing comes out. It's just a thick paste of diarrhea that comes out on the other end after you try and process this. After you try and force it through the gears. $1 trillion. If you make $40,000 a year, how long do you think it'd take you to make $1 trillion? Go ahead, guess. No, go ahead. Throw some guesses at me. No, that was a good one though. Come on. Anyone else? You're getting farther away. Anyone else? Guess. $40,000 a year. How long to make $1 trillion? That's stupid. That was a dumb guess. Don't even do that. No, the actual number is 25 million years. Did anyone get it? Anyone out there? Tell you what, if you got it, email leecampledger@protonmail.com and we'll give you a download of my comedy special. And we'll only give away one of those. So for 25 of you lie and I'll say you got it, because I know you didn't. You didn't get that right. 25 million years it would take you to make $1 trillion. If you had a $1,000 bill, picture a bill that says $1,000 across it, and you stacked them up, $1,000 bills, how high would $1 trillion stack go? Roughly 65 miles into the air. It's an insane amount of money. And this also, this level of utterly preposterous money, it gives a lot of kind of evidence and backing to the MMT, modern monetary theory, right? These numbers are not, they're not possible. They're not, our government just prints money, makes it up, and then tells all of us that, oh no, we have to worry about the deficit, we have to keep a cap on it, we need you to pay taxes. It's, a few percentage points of money are actually ever printed. Most of this is an idea in our heads. Granted, I'm getting way off here. I know I was focusing on the military, but this is an idea in our heads that this level of money exists. It's just zeros and ones in an imaginary computer of our fucking dystopian brains. Let's get to some questions here in a second. Did I say everything I want to say about the military? I don't know. It's disgusting. It's fucking repulsive. It really is. And we, like I said, it's the largest socialist enterprise in our country. It's larger. This amount of spending in this budget is larger than the entire rest of the government combined. And all of that money could go to do anything you're thinking about that you want to do. Switch to green energy. Done. We could do it. We could do it yesterday. Stop subsidizing fossil fuels, give all that money to green energy, and take some of this fucking ridiculous military budget and whatever's left that you need to spend to switch our entire infrastructure to green energy and save us from certain extinction. Done with this amount of money. Everything you want, fucking schools, books, libraries, free public transit. It's all there. It's all possible. Healthcare, Social Security, go to the moon. Go to the moon every fucking day. Take 3. Don't even fill up the spacecraft. Leave it roomy. Leave it roomy. Yeah, for 3 people. Oh, I know it fits 45, but we got another one going in a second. Go to the moon all the time. Who gives a shit? The amount of money that we could. It's all lies. So when they tell you we can't do something, that we don't have the money, that we can't have the possibility, we don't have the manpower, it's all lies. Because it's right there in the Pentagon's budget that they're not even asking for this much money. They don't even know what to do with this much money. And our Congress, our world, our military, not our military, our Congress, our thought process is set up to act like this is okay, and anyone who stands against it is out of their mind. It's almost not talked about. There's, a handful of Congress people. Those 16 Democrats that voted against it, and probably not even all of them are great, so you're probably left with the 4 or 5 that actually are saying these type of things. All right, let's get to some viewer questions. And let me also mention, I am coming to London, England. London, England, for those of you who haven't been watching the videos recently, there's only like 50 tickets left. It's getting close to sold out. Eleanor Goldfield will be opening the show. It's my only show in the UK, in Europe. I don't have time to add others. It's just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And London, England. So I would love for you to be there. LeeCamp.com. Click the schedule tab for all the info you need. 50 tickets left. That's August 18th. I'm also soon coming to Los Angeles and Ventura, California. Those tickets are not up yet, but I think they'll be up any day now at LeeCamp.com, so keep checking that. The Los Angeles one's going to be a small show with Eleanor Goldfield opening. Ventura's show will be slightly bigger. I believe Graham Elwood will be opening that show. Anyway, those tickets will be up soon at LeeCamp.com, so keep checking back if they're not up yet. And, of course, Milwaukee. Thank you, Minneapolis, for an incredible show. And I'm also headed to Madison and Washington, D.C. As always, come see us here at Redacted Tonight. We tape with a live audience every week, and you just have to sign up for free. That's LeeCamp.com. Click the schedule tab. All right, let's get to some questions here. Let's see. This is from Sid H. Are you concerned that even if/when Trump is voted out, he simply won't go, or is termed out after 2 terms? He simply won't go. I keep trying to imagine him walking out of the White House on his own volition and simply can't see him doing it. That is a definite possibility. Yeah, it's terrifying, the idea that he would go full tyrant, full dictator, and just say, no, I'm not leaving. I would like to believe in a world where we would all stand up and demand that we continue to stick to the 2-term limits that we came up with for this fucking system, that we ignore all of the restrictions on. That, the Congress is this is what I wanted to say about the military that I didn't get to a minute ago. Congress is supposed to so much of our so-called Constitution we've just let go by the wayside. Congress is supposed to oversee war. They're supposed to oversee, they give the money to the Pentagon by allotting this budget, but they don't oversee war. They don't approve war. They're not voting on war. That vote to say that we should get out of Yemen was the first vote having to do with war in years. All right? They have just absolved themselves of any responsibility, just wiped their hands clean of overseeing our death machine and just let it go wild. It's basically a soft coup. I mean, we're under a soft coup because the military, our entire military, has been taken over and is not accountable to the people. It's not accountable to Congress. They're not voting, like I said, on our bombings, on our war. The number of countries we're in, they're not voting on that. It's just authorization of military force that was passed in 2001. Fuck that. That doesn't have to do with anything with now. So Congress isn't doing it. The American people don't approve of it. So American people don't approve of what's going on with our bombing. They don't want to be at war in all these countries. So the American people don't approve of it. Congress isn't voting on it. What is that? It's out of control. It's a coup. It's in terms of basically foreign policy and our wars and our military, which is now larger than our government in terms of expenditure. It is a coup, a soft coup. I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. If they're not accountable to the American people and they're not accountable to Congress, and there's $21 trillion of unaccounted for adjustments, and they won't even tell us where the bombs are being dropped anymore. They won't tell us about half the bases. There's a thing proposed in Congress the other day that Pentagon would have to give a reason for having a foreign base soon, because they haven't been. They just pop up. They just make them. They don't give a shit. 1,000 around the world. Many of them secretive. Don't even have to tell Congress. But that was proposed. Probably won't pass. Won't go through. So they're not telling Congress where they have bases. How is that not a coup? How is that not a completely unaccountable system? So this actually does, even though I didn't mean for it to, come back to what we were saying about Trump, which is, yes, it would be horrifying if he stays in there. But at the same time, so much of this system is locked in with or without him. So these policies, the dictator's toolkit, the surveillance, the prison state, the military, unfettered Wall Street, that all churns on despite the president. Because it doesn't matter who the president is. Now, I'm not saying a president couldn't get in there. I'm not saying you couldn't get a Bernie Sanders to step in there and say, we're going to change this. Maybe you could. But right now, those systems, those policies go on, whether it doesn't matter who the fucking president is. It could be Obama. It could be Trump. So in a way, that system, those ideas, that process is locked in. It doesn't leave after 2 terms or 1 term. It doesn't leave when it's voted out because it's never voted out. So in a way, you already have that locked into an endless presidency. And maybe that's the positive. Hey, doesn't matter if Trump leaves. Most of this stuff will go on unfettered. No, it's certainly not positive. But I'm just saying, it's not just Trump. Yes, it would be horrible if he fucking says, hey, yeah, I don't feel like leaving. I'm just going to sit around here. It'd be interesting. Hopefully people would stand up against it. Hopefully we'd actually have some fucking strength as a people. But I don't know what to tell you. Who knows? All right, question number 2. This is from DID. Glad it's not from the DOD. Damn, Lee, you're great. Oh, thank you. This old thing. Question, when you travel outside the U.S., do you ever get hassled by customs when coming back? I haven't been hassled by customs. I've been hassled by TSA. I don't know that it's because of what I do. So far, I don't think it is. I wouldn't put it past them at some point. Occasionally, they do recognize me, which is not creepy. Not fun. But nice to know I have fans at TSA. I also opt out of the scanners at the airport, which are utter horseshit. Put in to sell shit to our TSA. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Those scanners are founded by Chertoff, who actually used to be the head of Homeland Security under Bush. So he basically said, "Oh my God, terrorism!" And then he said, "You having trouble with terrorism? How about you buy these scanners that I happen to sell? You want to give them a try? Because I heard terrorism's awful. I heard there's a color alert chart, and I heard it's on orange." Yeah, but now we have the orange president, so I guess that's the top of the color alert chart. Terror alert chart, whatever. But yeah, so I don't, because I opt out of those scanners, you have to get the pat down, which is, so they're trying to abuse you some of the time. But, I just kind of want to fuck up their system, just make it take a little longer, not go along. You're going to put me through some fucking scanner where I have to sit there like a goddamn prisoner with my hands up. Yeah, fuck you. Just trying to make things difficult. Put a lot of dildos in my luggage just so they have to rifle through them. That type of thing. Just make stuff difficult. Don't go along too easily. That's all it really comes down to, because all that shit's stupid. It's when they test those systems, when they test our TSA to see if they can get bombs and shit through, they get it through 90% of the time, because that stuff that stuff is just to give you the illusion of security. It doesn't actually do much. It catches the idiot terrorist, the guy who's got a bomb strapped to his nipples. Like, all right, your nipples look a little funny. And he's like, God damn it. It catches the idiot terrorist. Let's move on to another question here. This is from Adam Martin. He says, hey, Lee, is Fahd all right? Haven't seen him on Redacted in a while. Fahd is the nickname for John F. O'Donnell. John F. O'Donnell is doing okay. I believe I addressed this on a previous episode, but I realized that you can't catch everything. He's doing all right. He's having some health issues. He's living back in New Jersey, where he's from. But I'm sure he'll be back out and about doing amazing comedy as he always has. He's incredible, and what he's done for Redacted has been priceless. And he's an amazing comedian, an amazing guy. I don't know how often he updates it, but I'm sure if you check out his Twitter at The Real Fahd, I believe it is. It's either The Real Fahd or Real Fahd. You can keep up with him there. And, when he's back out doing more stand-up comedy and doing more comedy, he will, I'm sure, let you guys know. But I know that he appreciates the support, and, there's much love for Fahd. There always will be. He's an amazing guy, an amazing comic. And I love the man. But, The Real Fahd on Twitter. Okay, let's see here. This is from Tonya Maxwell. I live in Michigan, an hour away from Flint, Michigan. They have dropped all court proceedings. She means against the people that were responsible for the lead poisoning. They had some court proceedings. They were prosecuting some people for the lead in the water, which has yet to really be solved, even though they occasionally try and claim it has. It has not been solved. And they did have some proceedings going forward to prosecute these motherfuckers that poisoned all these people, caused God knows how many miscarriages and lead poisoning in children and all this shit. And they dropped them all. They dropped all the cases, and they claimed that it was to go back and do the investigation right, really prosecute more people. But as I said on Redacted tonight, something tells me that's not going to happen. Something tells me they're going to fucking leave this without prosecuting anyone. Tonya continues. They dropped all the court proceedings. It would have meant 20 to 40,000 other cities in the USA. Are there 40,000 cities in the USA would have been sued, and held responsible for poisoned water? People don't know that nothing will ever be done. And yeah, I did cover the dropping of the proceedings on Redacted tonight. It is repulsive, and I don't know about the numbers she gives there, but I do know that they have found lead in the water, like a unacceptable level, a poisonous level of lead in the water in like thousands of other cities. I believe it's over 2,000 other cities in the U.S., and it's because our infrastructure is collapsing. We don't repair it. Many of these pipes are decades and decades old. And our cities, this is what late stage capitalism is. You extract all the resources, and you don't put resources into the community, into helping people in a way that is not about profit. That's what our water systems are, right? They were built up as not being about profit, as just being about, hey, we just want a successful society. We want to compete with the other societies in the world, and we want to have a modern society, so we'll just build these up. And it's not about making a lot of money for city planners and shit. No, it was just about let's make a great society. And now, that's not where the money is, not where the profit is. So what do? Well, you stop fixing them. You stop rebuilding them. Only the poor end up drinking out of the sinks. They have to buy bottled water. That's great for Nestle, great for Coca-Cola. But that's what late-stage capitalism is. It's completely ignoring the needs of the people and just focusing on the last remaining profit as the thing melts down, as the whole place is on fire. And the people running the systems who are bought and sold by corporations, those people, bought off by corporations, those people are just focused on what is the last they can extract. How much can they grab? How much money can they grab before they get the fuck out of here and fly in their private jet to an island that has better infrastructure, that has better water? That's the point of this system that we're getting to. And so, Tonya, you're absolutely right. They drop these proceedings. They say they're going to start them up better than before. But, yeah, right. I can't wait to see that. Let's see. This one's about immigrant rights, or the segment I did on immigrant rights from Loner Link. Finally, someone says it. I've been screaming about this for too long. Our Bill of Rights applies to every single person, citizen or not. Yeah, for those of you who missed it, I covered the rights that immigrants have in this country. Immigrants, refugees, undocumented immigrants, they all have these rights by our laws. And so all I did was say what is legal in the United States and what is illegal. It is illegal for ICE agents to bust into your house without an arrest warrant, which they usually don't have. They may have a deportation order. They may have some other kind of order, but without an arrest warrant signed by a judge, they cannot bust into your house. They have to ask for permission. And often people will let them in thinking they have to, and you don't. You don't have to let them in. You don't have to speak to them. You don't have to sign anything. In fact, don't sign anything unless you have a lawyer with you, which you have a right to a lawyer. Now, they don't have the obligation to provide you a lawyer, but you have a right to get a lawyer. And there are lawyers that will do this type of work pro bono. So don't sign anything, and don't talk to them, and don't let them in your house. And those are the rights that you have as someone inside the borders of America, of the United States. You have those rights. And I'm sorry if that pisses people off. Got a lot of hate mail about it. Someone emailed me and goes, I only saw the first sentence because I'm not a masochist. I don't read this shit if you're going to trash me in the opening sentence. But the opening sentence was, "You fucking freak, we have laws for a reason." Nah. And I like that one particularly because actually what I did in the segment was explain the laws. I explained legally what rights these people have, and legally what ICE is not allowed to do. And this drove this person nuts. Because we have laws for a reason, you fucking freak. Love it. All right, let's get to the final question before I announce the winners of the stand-up comedy special, because every week, if you leave a comment on here, you will be entered to win a download of my stand-up comedy special that you can watch the first 10 minutes for free at leecampcomedyspecial.com, leecampcomedyspecial.com. Go over there, check it out. But I will announce the winners of the free download. If you leave a comment this week, you could win it next week. So, but this is the last comment here, and this is my favorite comment. This is from B. Eder. Everyone should know you work for George Soros. Thank you, B. I'm really upset that you revealed that about me. It was something I've really been trying to hide and not mention. Because it's not true. So I've been trying to keep it a secret because it's utterly false. So, didn't want it to get out there so much that I'm funded by George Soros, because I'm not. And I would, listen, if someone has George Soros checks they'd like to send me, then all right, send them my way. No. I'm not funded by George Soros. I regret to inform everyone. In fact, I've gone after George Soros multiple times in the past few weeks. I don't know why he kept coming up. I'm trying to remember. I know one thing was about he and Disney, George Soros and Disney, Abigail Disney, one of the heirs of the Disney fortune. Abigail Disney, one of the heirs of the Walmart fortune. No, one of the heirs of the Disney fortune. She has actually been on kind of a mission to call out billionaires and say that we, meaning Abigail Disney and her cohorts in the billionaire club, have to pay more taxes and have to treat workers right, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, George Soros also said, he came forward and made a statement with her saying that billionaires should have to pay more taxes. And my question to them was, does this also mean you're going to get rid of your tax havens, your tax loopholes, your shell companies, your tax shelters? You're going to get rid of all that? Because most of these people, I don't know about Abigail Disney, I guarantee you George Soros has some. Most of these people have massive tax havens, tax loopholes that are exploited in ways you couldn't imagine. They have teams of people focusing on setting up these tax loopholes and tax havens. Like teams of people. They'd spend their whole year going through George Soros's accounts to make sure he doesn't pay as much taxes as he should if he didn't use all these loopholes. You know, Trump was notorious for this. Trump did it to a whole other level. But anyway, so I was calling him out for that on a recent Redacted tonight. And apparently, I didn't know it, but I'm funded by George Soros. Except I'm not. But yeah, I've been accused of, it's interesting, people like to accuse me of being all kinds of things. The last one, because I, talk about, climate change, because this is the hottest month ever on the planet Earth that we've ever recorded. And it's also it was the hottest day Paris, France ever had in its history on record the other day, 108 degrees. Because I like to talk about climate change, people go, the one lately was, I'd love to hear how much money Lee's getting from green energy or how much stock Lee has in renewable energy. And I was like, yeah, wouldn't that be great to know? It's zero. Sorry. It sounds like a good idea, but not getting any from green energy. But I love the idea that like I couldn't just be talking about these things because I don't know, I want to avoid extinction. Maybe that's my motivation. Maybe I'm just kind of like, what if we didn't go extinct? What if we didn't kill? We're in the middle of the sixth great extinction because of the number of species. We lose hundreds and hundreds of species every day of various plants and animals and insects. And maybe that's enough reason to talk about these things. Huh? Maybe I just don't want to see everybody catch on fire, Maybe that's the reason I talk about it. Maybe it's not because I have some stock in some company. So thank you, B. Eder, for your idiocy. Winners this week, Derek Bentham and Susan Greer. You will get the download of my stand-up comedy special for free if you just email leecampledger@protonmail.com and say you are the winner. We will give it to you for free. Also, anybody can watch the first 10 minutes for free at leecampcomedyspecial.com. If you want to come see me live, that's at leecamp.com. Click the schedule tab, and we tape with a live audience for free every week. Redacted tonight, Washington, D.C., and you can sign up and come join us and have a beer with me. All right. Until next time, keep fighting.